Yo, good morning, my people. Happy Tuesday. That feels like a Monday because yesterday was Labor Day and we were all off chilling, eating hot dogs and hamburgers and such, ribeyes and the like. Oh man, yesterday for me was pretty much fantasy football day, and I know a lot of folk out here are very similar. You know what I mean? I like drafting late, uh, or early in September, I should say, late in like draft season, because by this time preseason is done. You know, anybody who's got major injuries and all that to start the season, we already know, so we can avoid, drafting folk and then all of a sudden, pop, they're gone. So that's why I like doing it late. I have three leagues that I'm in this year, which actually isn't bad. That's about my average. There was a time where I was doing like 5 leagues, man. I mean, at a time, bruh, it's fun, but it's a lot of work, and you end up forgetting. Like you think you made a move, because you heard the player was injured, and you did make the move. You just forgot to make it on one of the 5 or 6 of your leagues, and you swear in your mind that you made it because you did make the change. You just didn't make it for all of them. That happens way too often to me. So I was like, you know what? Let me just bring it back down to 3. I've been successful in every league except the original league that I started back in 2013. And if anybody saw the Candid Corner Entertainers Classic episode last night, you heard. 8 years is my year this time, God dog it. So we went over the draft results of that particular league, but then right after that show was over, I had to dive in and draft in my Candidly Talking Fantasy league with J Mac and a bunch of Max Fury and all of that, and a bunch of other great Twitter folk. You know what I mean? And that league, if I'm not mistaken, is a 12 team super flex with a quarterback flex and defensive players, defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, and DBs. So now again, I personally I really enjoy doing defensive players. The Candidly Talking League and my Entertainers Classic League both feature defensive players. I just think it's another nice wrinkle. It gives props to the guys on the other side of the ball. And it makes you pay attention to those guys on the other side of the ball as well. You know what I mean? And it also makes for very interesting draft strategy because what I did, especially what I did last night, was after a while, and I noticed that a lot of the top premium uh, skill players on the offensive side of the ball were coming off the board. So I switched to my defensive players and ended up drafting like Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Aaron Donald, uh, in that like. So I ended up, and I might have, I mean, because what it's funny, while I was doing it, it was a run on kickers and team defenses. And I was like, well, all right, y'all want to do that? Y'all can go ahead and do that. I'm diving in over here. Got me some Bobby Wagners and all kinds of good stuff. So I think I did all right. Uh, my Yahoo draft grade for the Candidly Talking Fantasy was an A. My draft grade for Entertainers Classic was a B plus. Early last week, August 30th, I drafted in my other league. That one I got a C plus. But that one is if I'm not mistaken, that was an 8 person, might be a 10 person, but I think that one's an 8 person league. Uh, so I'm not really worried about my draft grade there, you know. end of the day, the waiver wire is thick on that league because it's a shorter, it's a smaller league. So there's some. If I need to make moves, then I could always make moves. So again, I'm not too worried about that. But this is the time of year, man, and I love fantasy football. Uh, yeah, games start Thursday, so it's on. It's time to start listening to these reports and stuff, and making sure the guys you have uh, in your lineup are straight, and make sure your lineup is set and all of that. Remember Thursday night football, so you want to have your lineup set by tomorrow night. If you're doing league pick'em, you want to have that squared away before the Thursday tip off as well. I know in my Entertainers League Classic, we're definitely doing that this year. We do it every year. Half the managers always forget though. That's what's funny about it. You know what I mean? But to me, it's another way to get a nice little win under your belt. You know what I mean? So I'm listening to Fantasy Sports Radio here on Sirius XM, channel 87. I actually listen to them almost every morning, man. Adam Kaplan and a couple other guys. They always got some really pretty interesting information. They got some heads up stuff. You know what I mean? I shared it with my son, so he listens when he's in the car with me. He drafted pretty well. He got an A- on his draft. He's also in my Entertainers Classic, so it's definitely that's a cool league. My wife is in it with me. Her sister used to be in it, but after she won it a couple of times, you know what? Honestly, Colin Kaepernick and all that popped off back in the day. It actually fractured a lot of things in football. Still, to this day, there's folk that won't watch because of that. And not because he was wrong for kneeling. It's the other side, because he was right. And the NFL took a really, 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 really wrong turn on that one. And I still, to this day, I understand why people won't watch it because they still haven't necessarily rectified that situation. They've kind of just swept it under the rug, and kind of every season it just keeps it moving. And, it's a shame that Colin will never work in football again. And all he did was stand up for us. You know, to this day, that's all he did was stand up for us. You know, so again, I get it. I get why folk aren't really as keyed in as they used to be, and that's on football. That's football's fault. You know what I mean? Allowing an uneducated voice to be heard over an educated voice was kind of wild. Everybody talking about patriotism when I don't really understand the correlation because I served in the military and I'm still a black man in America who gets harassed and pulled over by cops. So I don't really understand what patriotism had to do with it. You know what I mean? See, now I'm flowing back into that whole conversation, and that wasn't necessarily my point, but it has to be said, man, that it wasn't correct in which the way that the NFL handled the situation, and it's not correct that they still haven't rectified the situation in any way, shape, or form. And all those little programs, that's nice, but when the crap hits the fan again, are those programs going to be in place to help out the community, or are they just in place to save face? You know what I mean? Because I could have sworn Jay-Z was supposed to be working with the NFL and all of that, and all I heard from him was, kneeling is dead, but you didn't come with anything else to replace it. Just, it's like it was a paid sponsorship almost. So, I still need to see a whole lot more coming out of that. But fantasy is fun. You say I can just flow back and forth. Fantasy is fun. I enjoy it. My family enjoys it. Yo, I got a question for all the listeners out there. If y'all got families or what have you, what is your Sunday tradition with football? Now, especially now that football's coming back this week. What is your tradition? Let me know, seriously. Either hit me with comments, shoot me an email at kpsoldiers@gmail.com. Let me know. Uh, every Sunday morning, man, when we wake up, we make the breakfast and turn on game day. That's the tradition. Then I get my notebook out. I have a special notebook for the family, and we pick games every week. We pick the Thursday game, we pick all the Sunday games, and the Monday night football game. And it's just a cute thing between me, my wife, and my son. And at the end of the season, we tally up all the wins versus losses and see who is the master of the schedule. You know, so that's a lot of fun for us. So and it gets everybody involved. Um, and even though my son isn't the biggest football fan in the world, he does enjoy the games. And again, this is another way to get him involved and get him knowing the names of the teams and getting him to follow. We started that a long time ago, maybe 4 or 5, like maybe 5, 6 years ago, really. You know, and it's just again, it's another way to just kind of be keyed into all of the games. It's fun for the family. We get to talk our smack and all of that good stuff. And like I said, game day is on from the time the TV is turned on in the morning on Sunday. Uh, and by noon 30, close to 1 o'clock, we start setting up the remote with at least the 5 games that we're gonna watch. And yeah, I know folk love to throw Red Zone in there. I actually like to throw the 5 games. I'll flip on Red Zone occasionally, but I it's cool to watch the scores, but I like to watch the stuff that leads up to the scores too, and they don't always show that. So I kind of just like jumping game to game. As soon as I get a commercial, boom, I'm jumping on another game. As soon as that game goes commercial, boom, I'm jumping on another game. Now, if one of these games are enticing as heck, then what we do is we go downstairs to the family room, turn on that TV, throw on a different assortment of games so we can literally bounce back between games all day. And we do this, like I said, until the games are done. And then the following Sunday morning, I tally up the week prior, and then we go over all of that. So it's just fun. So what I'm thinking about doing is bringing that to the Entertainers Classic Show, which, as Lou and I talked about to everybody yesterday, we're going to do like a recap show for our fantasy league every Tuesday evening, only like a half-hour show, just to recap the winners and losers and interesting information from that week prior. And you know what? I might institute that pick'em, and Lou and I will go head to head, see who wins week to week, picking these games. Get some of the managers in on it too. Yeah, man, we're gonna make this a fun show. Literally starting next Tuesday. So yes, from the makers of the Candid Corner will be the Entertainers Football Recap. It's just bringing that wonderful content to the people there. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, and big shouts. Definitely check us out tomorrow night, Wednesday. We got General Steele in the building from Smith and Wesson. We're definitely gonna have Daniel Artest and K. Lou back to go over the WNBA Top 25 list. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun, my mans. I'm telling you. So make sure y'all tune in, my ladies, my men's, gentlemen, gentle ladies, and everybody in the building. Make sure you check in. We definitely appreciate everything that you guys do for us. We really, really appreciate the support. We really appreciate the follows, the subscribes, everything. It really shows us that you guys are digging what we're laying down. And, that's all it is, man. It's sharing the moments and sharing the vibes and the experience with the people. And I appreciate you guys. So enjoy your Tuesday. If you're back to work, enjoy the grind. It's the grind, but y'all be fine. And if you're working from home, put your slippers on. You know what I mean? Make sure you got that joint on mute when you have the conferences, so they're not hearing the stuff in your backgrounds, your puppies yapping and stuff. And it's all gravy. Good luck to everybody playing fantasy football this season. I know not everybody can win, but do your best in your leagues. And I hope if you following me, you're kicking tail in your leagues. And remember, check out Off the Ball Network's main website. They got articles talking fantasy all season long. So if you're not sure about what you drafted or who's on your roster, go check out the articles, man. Jump into that waiver wire and see if you could finagle a win. Finesse yourselves into victory. All right, my folk. It's always one love. I always appreciate you. Coach Fi in the building.